Welcome to the Hospitality Influences by Raj Hospitality. Our special invitee of the day is a leader with commitment and passion. I welcome Mr. Vilas Pawar, the CEO of a prestigious hotel group, Choice Hotels India, and welcome to the show once again, Mr. Vilasji.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on here, Raj. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to the discussion as we move forward.
Thank you. For all the viewers, I just would like to have a small detail about Mr. Vilas. I just would like to read all of you so that you can understand the leader who's in the hospitality industry for more than 25 years. I'm honored to introduce Mr. Pawar, Mr. Vilas Pawar, who joined the Choice Group of Hotels India as a Chief Executive Officer in January 2006, almost 15 years. He is responsible for developing, managing the operations of the company in the Indian region for Choice Hotels International. Choice Hotels India is wholly owned subsidiary of Choice Hotels International, one of the largest and most widespread lodging franchisor of the world, with over 6,500 hotels worldwide. CHI currently operates 38 hotels, including pipeline in important business and leisure cities across India. Choice Hotels India would tap the potential in the mid-market segment, will increase room capacity to 3,500 from current of almost 2,000 rooms. Vilas Pawarji graduated from the Institute of Hotel Management, Mumbai. He has a rich hospitality experience of almost 25 years for setting up, operating, and managing hospitality organizations. He worked with the Taj Group of Hotels and Hyatt and Carlson. And there are many more things to talk about, Mr. Vilasji. One can understand the way he has been with one company for almost 15 years. That itself shows the kind of dedication of a leader. So thank you very much for being our show once again, sir.
Pleasure is mine.
So can we start with a few questions for the day?
Sure, please.
The viewers are actually from the hospitality industry who are very young, talented executives level, the students from the catering colleges and all the who's going to view it today. The true story of Vilas Pawarji, the industry leader. How did you reach to and where are you today?
I've been very lucky, I can say. After I left college, like you mentioned, I joined the Taj Group in Bombay. I was with them for about 3 years, and then I got an opportunity to work with the Hyatt Regency in Delhi, which was the only Hyatt back in 1988. And I, joined them as a assistant restaurant manager in Delhi at the Hyatt, and I was with them for about a little over 6.5 years, 7 years, and I got promoted every year. I left them as director of food and beverage, and assistant director of food and beverage, and then I got an opportunity to work with Carlson with TGI Fridays, and TGI Fridays was entering into India, and they wanted to have somebody who fit their profile and casual dining and take forward the casual dining concept here in India. So I joined them as a CEO for TGI Fridays here in India. Went to the US and I worked with them for about a year to understand how their business was and how they, how we can adapt that concept to India, because India being has its own challenges in terms of regions, in terms of cuisine, non-beef products, and so on and so on, vegetarian, which is hardly much in the US except for the salads piece of it. So we adapted the menu, worked on the menu, and we launched TGI Fridays in India, I think, in 1996.
Okay.
And the first one was in Vasant Vihar in Delhi. I was with them for almost 9-10 years with TGI Fridays, expanded the group, and then I got an opportunity to work back with Choice Hotels, actually Eden Park Hotels, which is also co-promoters of the Hyatt Hotel, Hyatt Regency those days, and they wanted me back. So I joined them back as their CEO for developing the Clarion brand of Choice Hotels in India. And in that very year, Choice Hotels, wanted me to join as a CEO for Choice Hotels.
Wow.
With the consent of the ownership of Eden Park Hotels, I moved across to Choice Hotels and joined Choice Hotels, and I was with them. I've been now with them for almost, almost 16 years in that capacity. So, yes. So now I'm the director and CEO for Choice Hotels. So,
So,
like I said, I've been lucky. One has worked hard for the first 15, 20 years of my life. So, not to say I'm not working hard now, but the challenges today are different from
yeah,
the challenges then. For those days in the early part of our career, one was on their feet and was putting in, 17, 18 hours of work right through. Um, so I don't put in 17, 18 hours of work, but yes, I get put in about 12 hours, 14 hours today, not as long. And it's more of a desk job as compared to, it's more of a desk job today. It's more of traveling. The job role has changed. Responsibilities have changed. It's more of expanding the brand, developing the brand, being visible. So challenges today are more at a macro and a management level rather than a micro level. But
but
it's
I
been an
think,
interesting journey, yes.
yeah, yeah. But then I think, yeah, luck is definitely very important in life. But then I'm sure, as you rightly said, because the kind of 17, 18 hours of hard work has been put up. And, the path was definitely would have been not so easier. I'm sure every, year you would have put up a lot of efforts. And especially for the youngsters who are watching it today, they can maybe, they should learn something that it is not so easy to become a CEO of a company, and the kind of journey he has gone through, and also the dedication he have been being with one of the company for almost 16 years. That itself is a example that how much the value he gives to his job and the kind of dedication he have. So that's amazing, Mr. Vilasji.
Yes,
Now,
of course. We have to be dedicated, honest, and hardworking. And every stage of life has a different challenge, and one has to deal with it and overcome it on that. So yes, there's no excuse to hard work. No
absolutely.
shortcuts there.
Yes, yes. My second question to you is that evaluation of customer satisfaction is a primary goal for any service firm that would like to survive in this increasingly competitive market. What are the strategies of Choice Group of Hotels to retain the customers, and how are you different from others?
Well, I think one of the things that we do is that we make sure that our tagline, we endorse our tagline to the hill, which is saying value for money.
Yeah,
So that is one of our strategies, is to make sure that our customers find value in money. We always strive to outdo that principle. Uh, we do take feedback from our customers at the unit level, as the hotel level, wherein they have the customer feedback form, which is put into a box at the reception, and the key for that box is only with either the owner or the general manager. It's not available to anybody else,
yeah,
so that we actually get, and we have an audit that we at the corporate office level that we conduct every twice a year, which actually, and all feedback forms come to the corporate office on a weekly basis, consolidated on a weekly basis. So we actually get to know what is happening and what do we need to do to improve ourselves at the unit level or individual unit levels. Every unit has their own challenges and their own plus points and minus points. And, I would love to make it all plus points, but there are obviously minus points in every operation, and we need to overcome that. And every guest experience is different and teaches us a lot.
yeah,
We also have anonymous mystery customers that go into our hotels and experience and give feedback directly to the corporate office, so that we know that what the mystery survey is telling us is pretty much in the same lines as what a customer experience is, and there's not too much of a difference over there. So we do that also, and that is only known to the corporate office who the mystery customers are. So yeah, and we have a loyalty program, which is one of the world's finest loyalty programs, and is internationally. We're launching that in India shortly, hopefully by end of this year or early next year, which would be make our loyal customers stay loyal to us on that.
something very interesting. Yeah. Generally, management skills deal with planning, organizing, and controlling the activities of an organization. What is your perspective of leadership skills?
the team that is real hurdles and what is the objective where you want to lead the team to. You have to lead the team from the front. I personally like to put myself in their shoes and say, if I were doing that job, what would I need to make myself a success? And the idea is to make the team set up for success and not for failure. So, you need to make sure the objectives that you've set forward are realistic and achievable with a certain, degree of difficulty. So it needs to make sure that you are, they need to be able to, and you have to provide the tools to make sure that we have them on that. So, the other important thing is to understand what the challenge is. As a leader, you need to understand what the challenge is and where you're leading your team to. So it's pretty much like the army. If a general is leading the team, he is not there on the front line, but he needs to understand who the enemy is. He needs to understand what the challenges are. He needs to provide the tools and the equipment and the arms and ammunition to his infantry or his soldiers to go ahead and win the battle.
I agree. I think very rightly said. How do you present any concerns to your team when you have very serious issue? So how do you present this to how do you concern the problems to the team?
I think, the days of really, when there's a challenge or a concern, 25, 30 years ago, the person or the senior management or the leader would just, take a decision and go ahead, usually. Today, I think you have to get the team engaged to it, because the challenges are very widespread, and my perspective as a leader may be very different from the team's perspective of a leader. So it's important. So what I typically do is that whenever there's a challenge, of course, I mull over it, I think about it, and then I get my teaming, my direct reports or my immediate team involved in that, share that concern or challenge with them, and together we come up with a solution to address it, because it's important also to carry your team along with you when you're addressing that challenge. They need to believe that it needs to be done. If it's coming from them, it always has a more meaningful way of addressing the challenge rather than my decision on that.
I think very truly said. So why was there a lack of government assistance to the sector in the recently announced economic stimulus package for the various sectors? What do the industries associations like Faith, IATA, TAI are doing to solve it? Actually, I know that personally they have put a lot of efforts, but things are not being taken care. So how do you look into that?
You need to ask the Indian government that as to why they are not addressing this issue. Well, here's my take on it. I think the government thinks that we are, so to say, a sin industry, and it is only for the rich and the famous that people use hotels. And I think that is where, they refuse to understand it. But, it's easier said than done. On the face of it, it so seems that there's nothing being done from the hotel industry. But, we need to take a step back and from a government perspective, really think that there's so many challenges the Indian government has. We are such a diverse nation, every state. I always say to everybody, within my system also, India is like Europe. Because every state is a different country. We all have different culture, different cuisine, different religion, different laws. It is, and just like Europe has, every country has their own laws and rules and regulations. And like India also has that, we do have a central body that is there. But again, the priority is also very different. The Indian government, we are still a developing economy. We are not economically, we're not as powerful as some of the other countries in the world where hospitality is matured. So the priorities here is really to fight poverty, education, light, water. There's so many different priorities the government has gone. So hospitality is not necessarily given that weightage, because people who can go to hotels and go to restaurants obviously have reached a certain strata of life and society that they can afford to get there. There's a larger part that is not, can't even dream of it. on that. So I think that's one of the issues that the government looks at the industry as, and we always are kept on the side. Having said that, the government also needs to realize that it is not necessarily entertainment, restaurants, eating out is not necessarily a sin industry, and it's not a bad industry. There's also, the Disneyland, which is entertainment industry, and it's good. It's good for every age group. Nothing wrong with that. So and to develop infrastructure, which the government is not, putting weightage on, we need hotels. We need people to travel. We need the teams who put up the infrastructure to travel, the officers to travel. We need hotels. We need, if we want to call the world into our country to develop our country and to make it a leading country in the world, we need people who come across, and they come across to India. They stay at various places. They will not stay if the infrastructure is not good. And hospitality and hotels are a part of infrastructure, not necessarily luxury hotels only. So there's luxury hotels, there's mid-market hotels, there's upper mid-market, upper class hotels, the budget hotels, economy hotels, and so the economy has to will move when there is hotels everywhere. And we have to have infrastructure to get people to do the job and have hotels in those places so people can stay over there. So I think there is, the government needs to realize that, and there is not one to be given priority to the other. They need to lean on each other, both the requirements of priority the government has, and at the same time, we need to carry each other along. They need to understand that there's also a requirement of having hotels, and across all levels. There are people who are, they are CEOs of the various companies, the managing director of company. They will not stay in mid-market hotels, but they do want to visit the sites, and they do want to visit the projects and factories across the country. So they have to make it attractive. The other challenge we are facing in our country is the real estate. The real estate prices are so expensive. The project cost is almost 40 to 50% is real estate cost over the project cost, which is ridiculous, because anywhere in the world is about 20%. So we need to make sure, or if the land is expensive, then the FSI given has to increase. We're still running at 1:2 or 1:3 FSIs. We need to make it 1:20, 1:30, 1:50. So that, and have your safety measures and in balance. All the checks and balances should be in place to make sure that the 1:50 ratio, 1:20 ratio of FSI is feasible. Only then will the hotel projects get viable. If I'm going to buy a piece of land for 10 crores and my room is going to cost me 1 crore a room, it is not viable to make a 100-room hotel. But if I can make a 500-room hotel on the same piece of land, it suddenly becomes very viable. Rates also come down there because the project is so much bigger that I can afford to give higher usage and higher turnover of the rooms. So yes, there are various challenges on that, but like I said, the government needs to concentrate on that aspect of it also. They go hand in hand with the other requirements.
Very well said. Very well said. When international travel is becoming extremely difficult, and every country needs to concentrate on domestic tourism. India has a very large base of 130 crore, but about 500 million Indian travel regularly, of which 24 million Indian travels to the different countries. Do you think that domestic tourism will boom, and how you think that resorts can do better in the holiday period like Dussehra, Diwali, Christmas, and New Year time?
Oh yes, I think domestic tourism has got tremendous potential. I mean, we've got. Honestly, I don't think there's any Indian who travels overseas has actually traveled along the length and the width of the country. And there's so much to offer in India. There's no question about it. And we have far more culture and far more history in almost any country in the world. Having said that, domestic tourism is growing, but it's on year, so it's increasing, but it is not easy to the private case. Is that we don't have the infrastructure to get to them, to the places. For example, I went to Kabini, and from Mysore to Kabini is about 2 hours drive, and it was backbreaking. The roads were so horrible. Why? And it's the same thing if you have a four-lane highway going into Kabini. People would that 2 hours would 3 hours would become half an hour, and people would visit the hotels more often. So I think, and I'll just give one example. It's across the country, the same issues, airports. But I think then the government presently is looking at developing another 100 odd airports over the next 5 years. Roads are improving, highways are improving, so it is improving. And like I said, India is a vast country with vast challenges, and everything can't happen overnight. So it's going to take a while. But I see a very different India in the next 10 years, and I see domestic tourism really, really growing by leaps and bounds. And that means even hotels will come up, in those places. Once the roads improve, people are traveling. Obviously, there's opportunity for hotels, and hotel investors will invest over there. So I see India changing very drastically in the next 10 years.
Thank you. This is about choice vision. I'm just reading it out, and I just want to have a little bit more light on it. The goal for the goal for year 2025 for Choice Hospitality India Private Limited, a wholly owned subsidiary of Choice Hotels International, one of the largest and most successful lodging companies in the world, would be to grow our footprint across the tier 2, 3, and 4 markets to increase RevPAR for the hotels, and also have a strong return of investment for the stakeholders, hotel owners and promoters, and to increase the value deliverable to our franchise. So how is the plan going to be when you say 2025?
So we have invested a lot on our deliverables, if I may call it that, in terms of technology, in terms of digitization, and that is where we feel we are going to move forward, because this pandemic has also taught us that people are going to depend more on technology, more on internet, more on digital ways of doing their bookings and traveling. So that is where we're investing into platforms that are able to drive more value and business at the best price for our hotel owners and our hotels, on training, on quality audit, and on anything that gives the guest experience a better value on that. So that's where the way we want to be. And in terms of growing our footprint across, we are aggressively growing in a market. Like you said, we've got 38 hotels, and we've got another 14 hotels that are under construction at this given point of time as I speak, which are due to open between now and the next 15, 16 months. All going well, that is. If another wave of lockdown comes, then today nobody can be too sure about what exactly. But if another lockdown comes, then you get delayed by a couple of months. But otherwise, we are pretty much on track.
Thank you. And my last question to you is that what are your suggestions to the industry youngsters, how to come out of this present crisis, and also advice basically for them to see that how they can grow as a leader like you?
Well, to answer the latter part first, like I said earlier in the talk, that there is no shortcut to hard work. So make the most of it. Work hard. Most importantly, keep that thirst for knowledge going. Keep that fire in the belly, which is very, very important to have, to achieve, dream, and dream big. Don't just dream for the next promotion. Think on a 10-year, 15-year perspective and work hard towards it. And it comes through. Be honest, have your integrity, work honestly, and you'll get there for that. Given the present pandemic, these are tough times, and I wish people had answers for it. I don't have answers for it. Every day is a new challenge. I wish I could give you gyan on that. I don't. We are dealing with it. I'm learning myself. But yes, the idea is to not get worked up, keep your calm, and this too shall pass. This too shall pass.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vilas Pawar, for being the show, and it was great conversing with you. And I'm sure the viewers today would have taken a lot of information from you. And it's great knowing about the choice vision of 2025. And wish you lots of luck, good luck to you for 2025
Thank you, Raj, and I wish Raj Hospitality all the best and keep the good job going. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
All right.